Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys swinging by the channel to spend some time with me on the video today. We're going to be talking about the old technique of dead sticking. Now, dead sticking, if you're not familiar with the term, it's where you basically throw your lure out there and you just let it set on the bottom, just like you're catfishing, and the bait never moves. It just sits there forever. And the theory is eventually over time, long enough, if that bait is sitting there long enough, a fish is going to swim by, take your lure, and you're going to catch that fish. That's in theory, but also there are some practical elements to this, because there's some situations and there's some conditions where dead sticking will outproduce any other way that you actually work a bottom bouncing lure. So what I want to do in today's video is I want to talk about when you want to dead stick and how to identify the conditions that make for optimum conditions for dead sticking. So we'll get into that in today's video. I'm also, guys, just wanted to show you real quick here, you probably heard me talking about it, but this is my favorite jerkbait for wintertime fishing. At the time of filming this video, it's almost January, dead in the winter. Guys, this, in my opinion, this is the Megabass X Nanahan Plus 2, the deep lip jerkbait. It's a little finessey 2.5-inch jerkbait that gets down to like 10 feet. Guys, this is my #1 jerkbait in the wintertime when the water is the coldest. Thing will get down, like I said, 10 feet or so on 6-pound line. Fish this thing around any clear water points, bluff banks, especially if you have a lake that's got spotted bass in it. Freaking deadly. So I'll put the Tackle Warehouse link in the description to the X Nanahan Plus 2 if you want to try one out. And you can't go wrong with this Pro Blue color here, man. This is one of my favorite colors. So definitely get you some good bites on that. Okay. Here is one of the things that this dead sticking is a technique that's been around forever, and it was actually sort of gained fame in Florida. Florida is a well-known it's a well-known state, the lakes in Florida, where dead sticking is pretty effective because you got a lot of grass there. You know, whatever it is about the bass, that's where it sort of gained fame. But here's one way that you know dead sticking works, because if you fish long enough, you're going to experience this. You may or may not have, depending upon how long you've been fishing, but how many times, myself included here, I can count, 100 different times where I made a cast out there with a worm or a jig or something, or a shaky head, and then I either got a backlash, I'm sitting here picking it out, or something fell down in the boat and I had to go down and get something out of the boat, or something distracted me and I had to put my rod down, and I went back through there, like I picked the backlash up and I'm taking my line out of the backlash, and all of a sudden my line has swum out 20 foot and there's a fish on there that picked that lure up while it was sitting still. I've had this happen, at least 100 times, maybe more, throughout the course of my fishing career, and that is dead sticking. But here's the thing about it, it's like, when do you want to dead stick, and when do you know that that's the way to do it? Because dead sticking it's excruciating painful to do if the fish aren't biting it, because you don't know if a fish is going to come up and bite it or not. I mean, it'd be like throwing a chunk of liver out there, a chunk of liver or shad guts, fishing for catfish. You don't know when or if a bass is ever going to swim by there to get it. So how do you know when to do it? Okay, so first of all, you have to have a combination of a couple different things. You have to have the bass in the mood and the personality where that's the type of presentation or technique that they want. So therefore, the dead sticking technique is going to work the best on a very, very inactive, non-aggressive, finicky type fish. So this is going to be a technique that's going to excel on areas that have a lot of fishing pressure, the fishing's tough, the conditions may be tough, maybe it's a post-front day, it's bluebird sky, not much wind out there. Just tough fishing conditions when the fish are very, very inactive. Their mood and their personality is a non-aggressive feeding mood. Second to that, you've got to have the fish pinpointed to some extent, because if you dead sticked just everywhere that you went, you'd never cover any water. You could sit in one spot for all day long. So you have to have an idea that the fish are in a specific spot. So when I'm dead sticking a bait, I want to be in what I consider a high percentage area. So for me, the best dead sticking type areas are like throwing next to a boat dock pier, or throwing next to a log in the water, or throwing next to a clump of cattails or a clump of lily pads that are isolated. Some type of specific isolated piece of cover is going to be your #1 type of structure to get dead sticking. And also, if you're on a school of fish, say for example, you found a school of fish and you're catching some fish out at school, then they stop biting. A lot of times you can throw your bait out there and just let it set and not move it, and those fish will come up and get it. Now, the best dead sticking lures are literally anything that's on the bottom. I probably caught more on a wacky rig and a shaky head as far as the lures and any other type of lures out there. Soft plastic sick bait like a Cinco, literally I've caught them on anything that hits the bottom, but my top three would be a wacky rig, probably a wacky rig Cinco, shaky head worm, or just a Texas rig Cinco. And it seems like the light sinkers work better. A lightweight or no weight seems to get more bites than something that's got a little bit heavier weight. And also it'll help if you put some scent on the bait, because for a fish to hit that bait dead sticking, they've got to be looking at the thing and actually, checking it out. So they're going to be close to it before they decide to hit it or not. So all those factors combine to do it. So I can tell you right now, it takes a lot of patience, because if you're not getting bit dead sticking, it's very difficult to do it. Now, how long do you let one sit? How long is a period that classifies dead sticking? In my opinion, if you let a lure set without moving it for 1 minute, that is dead sticking. And 1 minute is a long time. I can assure you, if you pitch your worm out underneath the boat dock and you don't move it or anything for 1 minute, it seems like it's forever to get to that minute. And also, dead sticking is going to be very difficult for you to do if the wind's blowing. So this is another technique that works good where there's no wind, that you're not moving. You can really fish super slow like a snail. But when you get in those situations, guys, when you get where it's tough fishing conditions, fish don't seem to be biting very well, you sort of have an idea where those fish are living at, try dead sticking it, try letting it set a minute or two, as long as you can stand it. And sometimes it can add up to some good fish. There's been a lot of tournaments won dead sticking also. Probably the most famous dead sticker of all time, there was a pro named Peter Thelaveros, who was a top level tournament angler for years from Florida. And Pete was sort of famous for dead sticking worms in Florida and winning tournaments. So anyway, just wanted to pass that along to you guys. Hope you're well. See you.